The Bargain Bin Gamer would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this show is created. We extend our respects to elders past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people enjoying this program today.
Double T Media.
You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
I am wearing glasses to make myself appear smarter. Also, more Halloween goodness. This is the Bargain Bin Gamer. Hello and welcome back to the Bargain Bin Gamer, a Double T Media production, home here on the BQN Podcast Network. I am your host, Davey Willett. My pronouns are he and him, and I am here to play the cheapest and most shittest video games out there so that you do not have to. And hopefully, I find you a hidden gem or two along the way. Halloween continues, and like a bad franchise that's had its rights picked up by a straight-to-video company, we are here with part 4 of our spooky review series. So let's get straight down to it with more spooky bargains. Portions of today's review were captured on a live Twitch stream. That's right, the Bargain Bin Gamer now does streaming live on Twitch that you can interact with. To find out more, head over to twitch.tv/bargainbingamer, spelt G-A-Y-M-E-R. Back to the show. So, the quality of our horror titles has actually kind of gone up as we have continued to do these videos, unlike the horror straight-to-video sequels I was just joking about. So we're going to dive straight into it today with my review of Born into Fear. Born into Fear has some creepy moments, some jump scares, and a whole lot of housework to do. It is a competently made indie title that will not take up too much of your time or your cash. However, its confusing plot and repetitive gameplay do hold it back from being a true hidden gem. Developer Just Source Studio is an indie outfit that has a small but impressive catalogue of titles on Steam. Born into Fear is a first-person horror game where you play as the beige and speechless Agent J, sent by supernatural secret government organisation Aegis, A-E-G-I-S, to kill Sally. Sally is a creepy mannequin that is either stalking you around the streets or giving you odd jobs to do around the house. Your main goal is to find all the homes where Sally has set tasks for you to complete. This unlocks a larger house at the end of the street where you can choose to kill or spare Sally's life. You can't make this shit up. As you hop from home to home, Sally stalks the streets and will chase you down if she spots you. You don't want her to catch you, because if she does, she locks you in your room and forces you to do mass homework. Before you're allowed back out, you actually have to go through and answer a whole bunch of math questions. Now that is truly horrifying. Fortunately, Sally will not follow you into a house. She will, however, linger like a creepy stalker on the front porch for a while, which I found really unsettling. As I mentioned, there are a stack of houses where Sally has jobs for you.
Was kind enough to let us stay with his family until we are back on our feet. It's ungrateful to leave messes in his house. Can you put your toys away where they belong, set the dishes aside, and bring those boxes to the attic? It's time we chipped in.
Which usually involve you tidying up, collecting various bits and pieces, or cleaning walls. In fact, cleaning walls was oddly repeated in multiple houses.
If you stay up all night again, you're gonna be on diaper changing duty.
If you enter a house where Sally doesn't have any odd jobs, you will instead find lost souls who also have, surprise, surprise, more odd jobs for you. Whether it be calling their grandkids,
Nana, it's pretty late for you to be calling. Yes, who is this? Where's my Nana? Is she okay? Oh, okay. Tell her I love her too. Oh, and could you pass it on to her that the vacation's been moved to the 14th? Thank you.
sending love letters to someone down the street, or helping unpack furniture. Each one has something they regretted not finishing, and it is up to you to put it right. Attending to all the lost souls will help you unlock a hidden ending, although I did not feel that doing so would help me get my money's worth for this game. So I made a beeline straight for the endgame once I had all the gold stars. Here you can either kill Sally as ordered or let her go. I opted to let her go, as the notes I found around the neighbourhood led me to believe that its inhabitants had all been slaughtered by the very agency I was working for.
Was wide awake when we breached the door to his home. He begged for his life, pleaded for more time to swim with his family. Still, we committed ourselves to Aegis for a reason. One old man past his prime wasn't enough to stop what we had planned tonight. I know I'll hear his screams in my dreams tonight, and looking at the faces of my fellow agents, I know they will too. So these guys just like murdered a whole town of people for... What is it? Is Aegis Captain Janeway and the town of people are Tuvix? Bad joke. No one's even watching at the moment to laugh at that. That's fine.
More for me, as doing so basically meant that they killed me anyway.
Oh.
On Operation Covert Genesis.
I YouTubed the other two endings and neither of them seemed any more satisfying, so I couldn't really give a shit at this stage.
Hey, that's not her room, Todd.
I know it is a short and cheap indie game, but I would have loved more payoff when it came to the plot. Who were Aegis, and why did they kill everyone on this street? Did they create Sally, and why was she called a buffer? One thing I will give Born Interfere credit for is that Sally never failed to freak me out.
Okay. She got me that time.
Overall, not a bad effort. Just a bit more variety and backstory could have made this quite the delight. If you have a spare $5 and a spare afternoon, you could do a lot worse. Just watch some of my other videos in this series and you'll know what I'm talking about.
You've got until your dice roll to put all my rivals back in your faces. Or you're going to lose your phone for the next week. Oh, and while you're at it, put the chairs back too.
Born Interfere cost $4.39 on Steam, and it is almost a hidden gem. Almost. Well, that is it for part 4 of Spooky Bargains. I hope you've been enjoying this series. Don't forget that the Bargain Bin Gamer is part of a broader network of podcasts called the BQN. You can support this and other shows on the network by signing up to be a patron at patreon.com/BQN. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this show here on YouTube. Leave your thoughts and other bargain games that you'd like us to look at in the comments below. If you're listening to the audio version, please make sure that you give a 5-star review and help others find the show on whatever platform you choose to enjoy it. Also, don't forget, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we are now Twitching. You can see me twitching live, doing long plays. There's all kinds of different variety coming out in the show now. You can also watch and chat along with me whilst I'm playing games that I'll be reviewing here in the more condensed format here on YouTube or in audio format. So head on over to Twitch. That's twitch.tv/bargainbingamer, spelt GAYMER. Hope to see you again soon.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, and Kelvin. Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. If you're lost in the Delta Quadrant, check out The Captain's Couch, a Star Trek Voyager podcast hosted by Jeremiah sitting on Janeway's Ready Room couch. Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed but should definitely check out, hosted by Mark, Matt, and Laz. Beam Aboard the Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Amy, Joe, Rhea, and Kevin. History with the Zilagis, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissy and Thad. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Union Federation, covering all things Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Star Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Spill the Tea with What's the Tea, Bev, a Trek current events and fan interview show hosted by Christos. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind, BQN's monthly roundtable discussion with hosts and listeners. It's Green, a cornucopia of topics hosted by Mark, and Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek, hosted by Amy. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Double T Media.